Welcome to In the Green, the podcast based on the intersection between life, finance, and the pursuit of breaking par. I am your host, Ryan Briggs with GFG Wealth Advisors. Time to tee off. Welcome back to the In the Green podcast. We are joined today with Kyle Kacal. Kyle, thanks for coming on the pod.
Absolutely. Good morning.
Yes, sir. Good to see you. Good to see you. So, our audience might not be familiar with you, right? You know, we stretch outside of just Central Texas. We stretch across the country. Who are you?
Well, right off the bat, I'm Kyle Kacal. I'm a local here in Bryan College Station. I ranch and run a unique hunting operation with a group called Bacon, hunting hogs out of a helicopter. But for the last 12 years, I've been part of the Texas legislature. And wow, it's been a learning curve and an interesting deviation in my life, but one that has been very rewarding.
I bet it has. You know, the call for public service is one that, you know, you see people get the itch for it, and then it kind of becomes consuming, right? You know,
absolutely, it took over our entire life. But you know, the things that I was able to accomplish while I was in the legislature, just the call to service, like you said, that's why I did it, and being able to help people over a very broad part of Central Texas. I served over 9 counties with 2 different districts, and it met some incredible people in the growth in Central Texas. It was a challenging but very rewarding time in my life.
I bet it was. So Central Texas is a part of your life because did you grow up here, or you?
I grew up on the coast, actually,
okay.
In Pearland, Texas, which was a small.
That's where my grandparents live.
It's a small little suburb, but since I left, I think it's grown. I think they have 2 or 3 5A high schools. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's not a little suburb anymore.
No, not anymore.
At all. Well, good. Did I see? And then, so you came to A&M.
Came to A&M in 1988,
and
and
class of '92.
Class of '92, and have not left.
Yeah, it's a good place to be. I'm a transplant to College Station, and I haven't left either. Something about it.
There's no reason to. It is almost the ideal place to live, work, and raise a family.
I couldn't agree with you more. Yeah, I love it. Don't have any plans to leave it anytime soon, I'll tell you that.
And our golf has gotten better every year.
Yes, it has. And we're about to renovate out here. We're at Traditions Club, for those of y'all that don't know, and we're looking forward to seeing what's on the other side. Okay, so you graduated A&M. What did you go do right after that? You didn't say, I'm coming out and I'm going to be a representative in the Texas State House.
No, I figured out real quick that I was not going to be a veterinarian. So okay. I went to Texas Christian University to a ranch management program, and that was a 1-year, what I call a master's degree in ranch management, equivalent to a Harvard MBA for ranching in the state of Texas.
Sounds like you were drinking from a fire hose.
Yes, quick, very intense 1-year program. Came back and was able to take the reins on the family ranch and take it to a new level with, you know, running cattle a different way, feeding cattle in the Panhandle in western Kansas, and then developing the hunting operation that helps provide for my family now.
Gotcha. And that's Tonkaway, right?
That is Tonkaway Ranch, yes.
Perfect. Yeah, I can't wait to check it out someday.
Well, we're looking forward to having you out there soon.
Good. So, all right, so you're working at the ranch, you've come back, you revitalized it, right?
Correct.
Business is probably doing pretty good, or improving from what it was.
Correct.
And then you feel this kind of tug inside of...
Well, in the ranching community, as our rural population across the country and even Texas grows smaller and smaller, getting involved in groups like Texas Farm Bureau and Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers, you know, they realize, and if our viewers don't realize, most people in agriculture are introverts. Right. I'm one of the few extroverts in agriculture, and I got volunteered or voluntold to volunteer for this position, go to the Capitol, go to D.C., and getting involved. And I was on a vacation in California, and Farm Bureau called and said, there is an open seat that you live in. And without hesitation, I said, you know what, it's my turn. I need to go give back to the state of Texas, agriculture, and fight for it. And I forgot to tell my wife that I was going to run for the state.
You know,
house.
That's an important thing.
It was one of those big mistakes, but like I said, 12 years later, looking back, she and I have met and been able to do so many good things. But
sure.
You know, we jumped in with all 4 feet running and won that first election. That was a redistricting cycle where the primary with a runoff took 11 months.
Holy cow.
So, in my mind...
Walk our listeners through how that works.
So typically a primary is less than 120 days. And
Sure.
this, with redistricting, the courts did not like the districts that were drawn, so there was a lot of controversy, and they kept bumping the date out. And then I got into a runoff because of an open seat. There were 7 people vying for that position. 2 of us got in the runoff, and then you have to wait for a military mail-in ballot, so that adds another 80, 90 days. And it just, so the long and the short is government and being an elected official, like our whole world, is about relationships. That gave me an 11-month period to get to know everybody in the original House District 12, which was from Waco to Bryan.
Okay.
And it was what made my career, because I was able to spend that much time in the field and work that hard to achieve the victory in the election. That made my political career easy because I developed relationships, I continued them, I checked on them, I maintained them, and I didn't have to work as hard for the next 4 cycles.
Right.
Fast forward to 2021 cycle, redistricted, pick up 4 new counties, and I had to start all over again.
All brand new faces.
All brand new faces, but good
Yep.
people, good part of rural Texas. It's where I fit in and what I know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure that's why you sought re-election year after year and continue to win. I mean, if you relate to your constituency.
Absolutely. Right? And Central Texas, rural agriculture and the economy, everybody knows Texas is oil and gas state.
Right.
Agriculture is still the number 2 industry in the state of Texas. And I think leaving the State House now, I was one of 2 individuals that make their entire living off agriculture in the state of Texas in 2024. That's pretty
amazing.
Scary.
That is. Yeah, I mean, you got to have that. And I can, give you a quick aside about that. I went to Sam Houston State, which is in a rural community in Huntsville, but there wasn't a big emphasis. It wasn't a school that taught people how to go farm and ranch, right? So, it didn't even click to me. It was more of a business school, a nursing school, educational school. Then I get here and realize how many people are still coming to Texas A&M to learn how to operate and farm and be in agriculture.
Correct.
Yeah,
it's a vital part of our economy. And just since you touched on Sam Houston, I picked up Walker County in the last redistricting. And since then, with the new president, Dr. White, she has put a focus back on agriculture.
Good.
They have finished their goal of a piece of land they acquired with Gibbs Ranch. And Sam Houston is now at the forefront of agriculture, competing with Texas A&M and Texas Tech.
Eat 'em up, cats. Let's go.
I mean.
Yeah, I remember I started at Sam Houston in 2008. And I think we had grown 25% by the time that I left in 2012. Explosion of a university over there.
It's growing fast, and they offer so many good programs. What I love is so many kids that go to Sam Houston actually live here in Bryan College Station because the commute is very easy.
It is. I had a lot of friends that would bring me over to College Station to hang out with them, and they come over to Huntsville and hang out with us. So we never get up to anything untoward. But
you know what? It's what college kids are supposed to do, and those 2 schools, we are so similar. I'm glad that they all get along, and I wish we'd collaborate a little bit more agriculturally.
Yeah, well, and back in the day, it was the men that went to Texas A&M, and Sam Houston was an all-female school.
We had to go to Huntsville.
Yeah. So that trail's been burned a few times.
Absolutely,
back and forth.
that road is worn.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so we've gotten into you're in public service. You've been doing it. You did it for over a decade. What made you realize, okay, it might be time to hand the reins to somebody else? What was that moment like for you?
You come to a self-realization that it will run without you. It ran before you got there. But more importantly, it was time to come home and focus on family and business. My dad had stumbled a little bit with early stages of dementia, and life's too short. I want to spend time with him. I want to make sure that my wife and I enjoy the rest of our life and, focus on our relationship. I mean, business is running very well, but I can't do it when I'm not at the ranch. Being an absentee business owner, especially with where the legislature is headed now, Texas is unfortunately following our federal government, and it's getting more decisive and more controversial. And I'm not there to fight. I was there to help and provide solutions and make sure our economy in Central Texas had an opportunity to continue to grow as more and more people come here. But I never got into politics for the fight. I didn't, whether you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, Libertarian, I didn't care as long as you came to the table ready to work and let's do good.
Yeah, we could use some more of that nowadays, I believe.
The lack of that demeanor and just no common sense in politics anymore.
It's not so common.
It is common, unfortunately, and it's a great opportunity for me to come home.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure family was thrilled to death to have you back full time, and I'm sure the business was as well.
No, my wife's trying to adjust to me home every day, but we're going to get there.
How many? She probably told you to go find some golf courses to go play, and
she when you're home 3 days in a row, she's like, "Don't you need to go play golf?" And those are good. The good news is she loves the game, and she knows.
Oh, that's a good thing.
And she knows that it brings me joy, and she knows that I'm a lot easier to live with if I'm happy.
Yeah, I am. I'm very glad my significant other. We got together when I was still a golf professional, because I can't imagine my life without playing golf. I really can't. I would be cranky. I'd have a frown on my face all the time. It's just part of my soul, and I'm so happy that before I made the transition out of the golf industry, I met my significant other, and where she gets it, which is good.
It makes all the difference in the world. No other game can we play until we're 100. And no other game will challenge us every day on every hole and every minute that we're out there. And that's what we need to do. We need to be challenging ourselves.
Yes.
And golf will frustrate you from here to our death.
Yeah, here on that. It'll get you. All right, so I want to get a little bit of the meat of what the topic I wanted to run by you. So throughout your career, you have been a man of action. You have done things. You went to school to better your business, better the ranch. You saw an opportunity to get involved in your community, and then took that to the next level of being an elected official. So, what motivates you? Or let me rephrase this a little bit. A lot of people have all these dreams and aspirations that they want to do, but they don't pull the trigger on it. Okay, so we're talking to somebody that is listening to this in their car, they're watching it on YouTube, and they have this thing that they want to do. What motivates you to take action to do the things in your life that you want to do? What's the spark that gets you going and just gets that engine turned over towards it?
I think the spark is, it's not that I want to do it, it's that I feel obligated to get in the middle of it, get my hands dirty, and help. This country is still the greatest country in the world. This arguably is the best state in the union. But the desire to make sure we don't leave it worse than we found it. We were blessed to be born where we were born, and my spark is, I've got to contribute. I want to participate. Growing up, my dad, we'd casually watch Aggie football, we'd casually watch other sports, but he would say, look, it's hunting season, or it's fishing season, or it's golf season. I'd rather participate than be on the sidelines. And that lesson in my head, Dad going, I'd rather participate. You've got to participate. If you want to be successful, if you want to be part of the solution, you've got to engage. You've got to be on the field, whether it's the business field, education field, a golf course. You got to be part of it. You got to be in the trenches, and I want to be part of the solution. I want to make sure that this incredible world that we live in, wrapped around the United States and the state of Texas, that I had an integral part in it. And as I retired from the legislature, I'm not done. And I was at a victory party for one of the runoffs last night. I've been on the phone all morning with folks that fought valiantly and won, and folks that lost. There's still a role to play not being elected. And
you can take the man out of the legislature, but you can't take the legislature out of the man, right?
Absolutely. Too many good relationships, and we will make sure. And I've got some issues that we started on, and I'm not going to let them go.
Now, is there an opportunity for you to be, an at-large contributor to, the legislature at all, or is there pretty cut and dry?
No, there's all kinds of opportunities. So obviously lots of agencies, and then the word that most people think is a dirty word, which is not, is a lobbyist. I don't know if I'm going to lobby per se, but I will be in Austin advocating next session for various issues that I have been working on and ready to see cross the finish line. I will be there to help. A good friend of mine was killed in the line of duty as a game warden, and I helped pass some legislation back in 2015 for widows or spouses of those killed in the line of duty, and we did not finish. Those spouses lose all their benefits if they get remarried, of all things.
Man,
one,
that's unbelievable.
you don't know if you're going to find love one time. If you're lucky enough to find love twice, you should not lose your benefits that your loved one died in the line of duty protecting the people of the state of Texas. So I'm on the phone with 10 widows currently that lost their husbands in the line of duty in law enforcement, and that is one issue that I will continue to be in Austin all next session on, making sure we get it done.
I can believe it. The feeling of unfinished business must not be the most fun thing.
It doesn't sit well in me at all.
Right. But you're never good. There can't ever be a great time to just take a step out. You're never done. It's like, any job you've ever had, if you guys have ever transitioned, speaking to the audience, if you guys have ever transitioned from one place to another, there's never a great time to do it. There just didn't.
Every group that I've been involved with, I still go back and help. I mean, it's part of your life. It's part of your legacy. You want to see everybody do well. I mean, I want all my friends and everybody I come in contact with to be successful. And if I can help any way, I'm going to be there.
Well, that's good. We need more people like you, and I do appreciate the time you spent trying to make our area of Texas better.
Well,
right. I know that was hard work.
Thank you for that. And that's one thing we don't get a lot is a lot of attaboys or pats on the back, and I don't do it for that. If I can look back and say we did good, it's all the reward I need.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Well, I appreciate you also sharing some insight to, any of our audience that just has something they want to do, but dig deep, from your childhood, find something that kind of sparks you like you did, a message from your father, just find something that you can latch on to.
Absolutely.
Just to give you that motivation, because, the world out there is difficult to just say, I'm going to go do this. It is possible because we live in America, which is a phenomenal place to be, but it's daunting, right? So don't let it be too daunting. Find something that gives you some motivation and just get after it. Go do it. So, but Kyle?
Right.
Appreciate you coming on.
I hope I had a great conversation, and I hope the folks are motivated. We need good people to step up.
Yes, sir. We'll always do.
Thanks for listening to our episode today. Make sure to like, share, and download our episodes wherever you get your podcasts, and we'd really appreciate a review. Hope to see you in the 19th hole. Content here is for illustrative purposes and general information only. It is not legal, tax, or individualized finance advice, nor is it a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold any specific security or engage in any specific trading strategy. Results will vary. Past performance is no indication of future results or success. Market conditions change continuously. This commentary reflects the personal opinions, viewpoints, and analysis of GFG Wealth Advisors. It does not necessarily represent those of RFG Advisory, Private Client Services, or their clients or their employees. This commentary should not be regarded as a description of advisory services provided by GFG Wealth Advisors or RFG Advisory or performance returns of any client. The views reflected in the commentary are subject to change at any time without notice. Securities offered by registered representatives of Private Client Services, member FINRA, SIPC. Advisory services are offered by investment advisory representatives of RFG Advisory, a registered investment advisor. Private Client Services, GFG Wealth Advisors, and RFG Advisory are unaffiliated entities. Advisory services are only offered to clients or prospective clients where RFG Advisory and its representatives are properly licensed or exempt from licensure. No advisory services may be rendered by RFG Advisory unless a client agreement is in place.